Southeast Asia is quietly shifting its tectonic plates. Beneath the tropical sunshine and buzzing night markets, Thailand, once content to trail behind its sharper-edged neighbor Singapore, is now writing a bold manifesto. This is no longer a nation satisfied with being admired for its beaches, temples, or its food. Thailand is signaling something more urgent. We're not just here to grow. We're here to leap, to disrupt, and ultimately to lead.
Imagine a country of 70 million people, brimming with culture, resilient despite decades of political upheaval, and thirsty for a new economic destiny. Just a short flight south, Singapore glitters like a flawless jewel, deliberate, efficient, and immensely prosperous on a per capita scale that ranks among the world's highest. For years, Thailand could have chosen to envy that. But envy is passive. Instead, Thailand has chosen something far more active, far more dangerous, and far more thrilling. It has chosen to challenge. And that challenge didn't begin in boardrooms or think tanks. It began in the palms of ordinary people. In 2024, Thailand staged one of the most audacious experiments in its history, the digital wallet scheme. Overnight, tens of millions of citizens opened an app and saw 10,000 baht, about $275, waiting to be spent. No strings attached. No long queues, no paperwork, no conditions, just money, pushed into the bloodstream of the economy. Suddenly, the streets were alive. Small noodle shops overflowed with customers. Family-run groceries saw their busiest weeks in memory. The buzz was electric, an economy jolted awake by digital lightning. But like all lightning, the flash faded quickly. Beneath the thrill lay turbulence. Some used the handout not to spend, but to pay off crushing debts. Others waited for weeks and never received their promised funds. Whispers of favoritism and glitches grew louder. And soon, the questions began to swirl. How sustainable was this? How heavy was the debt burden? How long before this quick fix became a long-term liability? By mid-2025, the program had been suspended, its remaining funds reallocated to infrastructure and tourism. Yet even as critics declared it a failure, the lesson was profound. It was a sign that Thailand would not shy away from high-stakes experiments. Where Singapore's playbook relies on stability and caution, Thailand had chosen daring improvisation. That daring spirit set the stage for something even bigger. Imagine standing on Thailand's southern peninsula, sea breeze on your face, staring west toward the Andaman coast, then pivoting east toward the Gulf of Thailand. Now imagine those two horizons linked by a corridor of steel and asphalt, trains and trucks slicing across the land like a man-made artery. This is the Southern Land Bridge, a trillion-baht project designed to rewire global trade itself. At its core, it's breathtakingly simple. Instead of ships queuing for days to squeeze through the overburdened Strait of Malacca near Singapore, containers could offload in Thailand, travel by rail and road across the isthmus, and reload onto waiting ships. The time saved, 4 to 5 days. The cost reduction, up to 15%. For global shipping giants, that isn't just convenience, it's revolution. For Thailand, it means jobs, investment, and leverage. Overnight, the kingdom transforms from tourist stopover into economic hinge point. But the land bridge is more than infrastructure, it's psychology. Thailand is not whispering politely for investment anymore. It's roaring, we can be indispensable. 2 deep-sea ports, state-of-the-art logistics hubs, highways that hum with trucks, rail lines hauling millions of containers. Supporters say it could add a steady 1.5% to Thailand's GDP, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and cement the nation as a logistics powerhouse. Critics warn of ecological damage to pristine southern provinces and question whether financing can match ambition. Yet the very scale of the project sends a message. This is Thailand refusing to be peripheral. This is Thailand betting on audacity. And the land bridge is only one note in the symphony. Swing east toward Chonburi and Rayong, and you enter the Eastern Economic Corridor, Thailand's flagship smart city project. Picture once sleepy provinces transformed into gleaming hubs of biotech, clean energy, and digital innovation. $1 trillion baht earmarked for a future where solar panels glint on every roof, sensors regulate traffic, Autonomous buses glide silently, and research labs hum with activity. By the 2030s, this corridor is expected to house hundreds of thousands of residents, employ hundreds of thousands more, and serve as a living symbol of Thailand's leap from a labor-intensive economy to a knowledge-driven one. For decades, Bangkok's traffic jams and pollution symbolized the country's struggles. The EEC wants to flip that script, showcasing sustainability, order, and modernity. Tourism, too, is being rewritten. For decades, Thailand's beaches and nightlife filled its coffers. But today, the competition is fiercer and the stakes higher. So Thailand is doubling down, with spectacle and with innovation. On one hand, proposals for integrated casino resorts in Bangkok, Phuket, and Pattaya, designed to rival or even surpass Singapore's iconic Marina Bay sands. Imagine glittering towers, fountains, and gaming halls that attract millions and pump billions into the economy. On the other hand, a futuristic experiment called Tourist DigiPay, allowing visitors to convert cryptocurrency into baht with a simple QR code, spending seamlessly without touching cash or cards. It's tourism blended with fintech, designed to capture younger, wealthier, tech-savvy travelers. 2 gambits, 2 revenue streams, 1 goal: to make Thailand not just a destination, but an experience of the future. But ambition doesn't stop at projects. It reshapes behavior. Consider car-free Sundays in Bangkok and Chiang Mai, when entire districts close their roads and open their hearts. Streets transform into rivers of people, alive with cyclists weaving past dancers, children skating under the morning sun, and families strolling together without the constant roar of engines. The air feels lighter, the city more human, the very rhythm of urban life briefly rewritten. Or picture the growing push for renewable energy. Solar farms stretching across the northeast like fields of mirrors, catching the harsh midday sun and turning it into power, while tall wind turbines turn steadily on coastal hills, blades slicing the air with quiet determination. Each of these details is part of a bigger story, a nation aligning identity with reinvention. Where Singapore polishes perfection, Thailand thrives on reinvention. And that reinvention isn't just about attracting investors with glossy brochures and master plans. It's about ordinary lives. For a young graduate in Bangkok, these projects mean the chance to stay home rather than chase careers abroad in Singapore or Hong Kong. For a farmer in the Northeast, it could mean joining a solar cooperative that finally brings consistent income, enough to send children to school without fear of drought or fluctuating crop prices. For a taxi driver in Phuket, a new casino resort isn't just neon and spectacle. It's more passengers at dawn, more tips after midnight, and the security of knowing tomorrow's rent can be paid. For a street vendor, a crypto-enabled tourist is a customer who can buy lunch instantly, no cash exchanged, no worry about currency exchange. The grand projects filter down to street level, where ambition meets reality, and where the idea of national reinvention becomes something people can actually hold in their hands. Still, ambition carries warnings. Public debt creeps higher with every new scheme, tightening the rope around future budgets. Household debt suffocates families, leaving many living month to month, unable to breathe beyond their next repayment. Growth remains uneven, a car that starts with a roar but sputters before reaching full speed, often stuck well below its potential. Political turbulence never strays far. The memory of coups, protests, and sudden shifts in leadership still lingers in people's minds, making investors cautious. Corruption whispers in the background, a shadow that refuses to disappear, while inefficiency slows projects that look flawless on paper but stumble in execution. The land bridge, bold as it is, faces environmental pushback, with critics warning that carving through fragile ecosystems could cause irreversible damage. Casinos, meanwhile, promise glitter but risk social decay, raising fears of addiction, crime, and widening inequality. Crypto-tourism might attract headlines today, but its foundation is fragile. One global market crash, and the experiment could vanish overnight. And all the while, Singapore remains the gold standard of efficiency, the quiet reminder of what steady, measured success looks like when ambition is paired with discipline. But Thailand is not Singapore, and maybe that is its strength. Thailand thrives in cacophony. Its identity has always been colorful, contradictory, poetic, and raw. Instead of trying to mimic Singapore's surgical precision, Thailand is amplifying its own chaotic scale. Where Singapore is a scalpel, Thailand is a hammer. And in a world of shifting trade routes, new technologies, and volatile markets, maybe the hammer can sometimes achieve what the scalpel cannot. Because here's the truth. Singapore's strength is its perfection, but also its vulnerability. A city-state so tightly controlled, so finely tuned, can run like clockwork, until the slightest external shock throws the gears off balance. Its wealth depends on trade lanes staying open, investors keeping faith, and global markets continuing to flow through its narrow corridors. One disruption, one storm in shipping, one shift in capital, and the machine can stall. Thailand, by contrast, is messy, sprawling, and endlessly diverse. Its economy stretches from modern finance towers in Bangkok to rice paddies in Isan, from tourist resorts on southern islands to factories churning electronics in the east. It is noisy, complicated, and sometimes chaotic. But that chaos is its strength. It can bend without breaking. If one sector falters, another rises. If the capital wavers, the provinces adapt. Its risk is collapse, yes, but its gift is resilience, an ability to absorb shocks that would cripple a smaller, more fragile system. So think about it. Bypassing Malacca with a new trade corridor, transforming forgotten provinces into industrial engines, overlaying casinos onto temple skylines, embedding crypto wallets into street markets. This is not just policy. This is reinvention. A country declaring, we will not be static. We will be audacious. We will design our rise. And here lies the tension. One nation builds wealth through control, discipline, and order. The other seeks it through scale, improvisation, and risk. One tightens screws. The other unleashes energy. One gains prestige. The other cultivates possibility. The drama is alive because it forces the region to ask, can Singapore keep pace with a neighbor so hungry, so restless, so unafraid to gamble? Or will Thailand collapse beneath its own ambition? The answer is unwritten. But what's undeniable is that the moment matters. Thailand's boldness has already shifted the conversation. It is no longer viewed solely as a land of temples, beaches, and smiles. It is positioning itself as a hub, a crossroads, a laboratory for audacious ideas. Success is not guaranteed, but stagnation is no longer acceptable. This isn't just about GDP. It's about imagination, about narrative, about scale. Thailand is no longer willing to orbit in second place. It wants the ring. And what makes the contest fascinating is its humanity. In Singapore, efficiency is a lifestyle. In Thailand, improvisation is culture. One prizes silence and discipline. The other thrives on noise, chaos, and reinvention. One looks like a machine, the other like a carnival. But beneath the surface, both are striving for the same thing: survival in a world of shifting power. And survival demands boldness. So when your city dreams of its own transformation, what would you borrow from Thailand's playbook? Would you hand every citizen digital cash to spark spending? Would you carve a corridor through geography itself to leapfrog competitors? Would you reinvent your cities as smart, sustainable hubs? Would you lure travelers with casinos and crypto? Or would you dare to do all of it at once, even at the risk of chaos? Thailand didn't settle, it leaped. And in that leap, the future of Southeast Asia is being reimagined. The question is no longer whether Thailand can compete with Singapore, but how far its ambition will carry it. And now, I want to hear from you. If your own city could borrow just one of Thailand's bold moves, which would it be? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're here, hit subscribe, because we'll keep uncovering the bold ideas shaping the cities of tomorrow.